Here we go. Floor is all yours, Jack.
Okay, well, hello everyone, and happy Friday. Thank you so much for just joining us today, spending your time on this webinar to learn more about HomeWell and our franchise opportunity. As you probably know, every Friday at the same time, we have a webinar. We call it a discovery webinar because you get to do just that. You get to discover exactly how HomeWell can help you get started in this non-medical in-home care industry. Again, my name is Jack Wilson. I'm a franchise development director here. I'll be your host for today and here to guide you really just through this process of education. And that's really what this is all about. So let's get started. First of all, who is HomeWell? Well, as mentioned, we're a non-medical in-home care franchise. We provide seniors and any other homebound individuals the proper care, the care that they need. But you might be thinking, what does that look like? What kind of opportunity or market are we looking at actually? Well, as you see here on the screen, now is the right time to be a part of the senior care industry. The statistics are staggering. You may have heard some of these already, maybe not, but I'm sure you heard that term, the silver tsunami. You might even be part of it like I am, but it points to a statistic that 10,000 people a day are turning 65. And that's just not today and tomorrow. Nope, that's for the next 20 years. Think about it. By 2050, there'll be over 19 million people here in the United States. It'll be 85 or older. Well, what does that mean? That means for somebody like you, a future HomeWell franchise owner, it means a whole lot of opportunity, as well as a lot of, whether it be for providing jobs, but also for providing needed services to some of the most vulnerable in our society. It also means that it's a perfect time for you to be investing in who else? You, yourself. That's really what you want to be able to do so that you can build that American dream, if that's your dream, and own your own business right here in this industry, this home care space. But there's some other facts that make this opportunity even more compelling. First, HomeWell's a non-retail brand. That means it's been deemed essential. We know how important that is when we reflect back over the last few years, especially going through that pandemic. Also, being a non-medical home care brand, that means that no health care experience is required. So many of our folks that come to us, they've been in various corporate jobs, in various disciplines within those corporate jobs. So keep this in mind. If you take nothing else away other than this is a great industry at this time to be in and to be considering and going through your due diligence, you also do not need healthcare experience. In fact, it's a much simpler business than maybe if you were looking at something with skilled healthcare. So you're not dealing with that type of complexity or that type of liability. No, this business is one that you can easily control. You can scale it to be what you want it to be, to replace your W-2 or more possibly. You can scale it as large as you want it to be. And most importantly, as we mentioned, and maybe as you've already determined, this is an opportunity to build a substantial business while doing, you see that little heart down there at the bottom, that heart, you can do this kind of business and actually give back to the community. Samantha, let's go to this next slide because it's really important that people understand who HomeWell is, because if someone's claiming they can help you get started in this industry, you might want to know a little bit about them. So we'll talk a little bit about HomeWell here. It was so that you know exactly who we are and how we can help you. Well, when did we get started? Way back in 1997. In fact, it was founded by a gentleman named Josh Hoffman in Seattle, Washington. And the interesting thing is, the name at that time was Hoffman's Helpers. Well, who was Josh? He was a caregiver by trade. So he built this company the right way. From that perspective, it's been one of the keys to our success, by the way, that we have that type of perspective. That's why we have this unprecedented type of growth going on even now. The thing too you want to keep in mind is it helped us build a real solid foundation that's focused on not internally, but on the end users, care for them. That's one of the things that makes HomeWell unique in this entire space, because you'll see a lot of others can offer similar services. But interestingly, Josh learned early on that, you know what, I need to create a franchise. I can't get this big as I'd like. So that's what he started to do. He saw the demand in his country continuing to outpace what he could do. And he realized in order to scale his business, he had to go beyond where he had taken it to that point. Well, he then created what was called HomeWell Senior Care. He got right into franchising, built it up pretty nicely, up to about 35 franchises. He did a phenomenal, job growing the business at that point. But then he decided he needed a different set of expertise and skill set. Why? Because it's really what's needed for people perhaps like you coming from the corporate world who've never owned a business. You really need to be supported the right way. And he recognized that. Well, he started to look for a partner. And one day he took a call from a franchise candidate. That person's name was Bruce Haas. And much like we're doing now, instead of awarding a franchise, they began to explore a more robust relationship. And there was something significant about Mr. Haas. He had personal experience with his mother, like maybe you have with a loved one, but he also had experience in scaling franchise companies. He really liked what he saw when he spoke with Josh, and he decided he's going to do something in a more impactful way. Ultimately, he did just that. He brought the majority of the ownership stake in the company back in 2017. Now, with Bruce's professional experience scaling franchise companies in primarily the hotel space and the hospitality space, it was exactly what was needed to get the HomeWell brand set up for the rocket type explosion that we've seen right now. So from 2018 to 2020, they began to retool. And that was a significant piece. The relaunch happened in 2021. It became HomeWell Care Services, the name you know today. Fast forward to today, we're having this explosive growth. You've probably seen us in magazines, maybe online, and how others are talking about us and the growth that's happening. Right now, we have over 100 owners, close to 200 territories across 33 or 34 states. I can't even keep up with the numbers, but we couldn't be more proud of our franchise owners, because no matter what, they all have that same desire, that same element in them. You see those four words behind me: trusted care, true compassion. You see the little heart down there? That's what we listen for. Anybody can write a check to start a business, but business ownership is far more than that. And that's really what we look at. And despite all of these types of numbers we're talking about, there's still a lot of opportunity to serve our communities and room to grow across the United States. We're going to look at the map, but let's first, before we do that, talk about who we're looking for, right? As mentioned, we look for owners who are self-starters, right? You're not coming to HomeWell to be another employee. You're coming to be the CEO. We're going to help you understand things and understand how to use sales processes, the importance of driving success. We want to know that those things resonate with you. We want to help show you how our proven system can really help you realize your dream of business ownership. And again, you do not have to have home care experience. That's a key part. Now, we talked about our growth. Samantha, could you go to that next slide? This is a visual depiction of all the states that we're in and the locations we have. And this is just, again, a snapshot in time. It's probably already outdated. So we just want you to know, plenty of room for growth. Make sure you talk to us to see if there is availability where you are. Now, part of what happens in this industry is it's very, very state specific and it's hyper local. This map here illustrates what states require licenses. In the dark blue, Those are places where agencies are required to obtain a personal care license. Now, the others, the light blue, just not yet. What we envision is in a very short period of time, this entire map being blue. And regulation, it's not a bad thing. Think about it. These are some of the most vulnerable people in our society. We want to make sure that some measure of regulation is there to protect those ones. And you know what? We make sure that our franchise owners are compliant at that state level so that they can sleep at night. And so they know when they're looking the adult children of those loved ones in the eye, they can pass that red face test about every piece of compliance having every T cross and every I dotted. Let's move on though, because ultimately we get to, hey, what's this about? What's the initial investment? Well, we're going to talk about that. The franchise fee, there it is. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. It's $49,500. It's a turnkey investment total that ultimately, when you look at the initial estimated investment, can be as much as 200 to 224,000 or so. And if you've looked at other franchises, you probably see that that's a pretty low number in reference to other franchise opportunities. What we've seen though, on average, most come in with approximately about $150,000 all in to get them through that first 3 to 6 months as they're building their business. Royalties, we're at 5%, pretty standard stuff without a doubt. But here's another thing that maybe you didn't know. We have a couple of options for you that perhaps you're going to like, and everybody likes options. Let's look at those. First is the standard option. When you sign your franchise agreement, regardless of which option you take, you're going to be required to pay the initial training fee of $5,000. But then here's where the options begin. The standard path is when you pay $49,500 for your franchise fee, and your royalty rate is 5%. You just have to pay that, not necessarily right at signature of the agreement, but sometime before you open your agency or within 150 days, whichever comes first. Some may prefer this option, and that's fine. We're not going to push you either way. We want you to make the best decision. Now, what are you deciding amongst? Option one, and let's go to option two here. Option two is a zero initial franchise fee down. So you're not paying it in a lump sum. Yes, you'll still pay that initial training fee of $5,000, but here you have the option of not paying the initial franchise fee itself. So you'll pay that training fee of $5,000, but not the franchise fee if you choose this option. Here, instead of paying the 5% royalty, you'll pay a 10% royalty until you hit a certain revenue threshold. Then you'll go back to the 5% and it'll be considered taken care of at that point. So you have a choice. For more details, talk to your development director. They'll help you with that. But we like to give these options, and one or the other may make more sense to you. Now, let's go back to something we said a little earlier. Remember, we said you do not need healthcare training in this industry? Well, how can you do that and be successful? It's because of this. Our in-depth training, we're known throughout the industry as having a solid training program. It's continuous education, not just throw a manual at you and say, go run your business. But no, we're going to have an innovative, technology-based learning management system, or LMS. Some of you may have those at the corporate jobs that you're at. But it's really how HomeWell franchise owners become leaders and why we lead this industry in the senior healthcare space. The training and support, it starts right in the beginning. We make sure that your team is comprised of not just one individual, but no, an entire team comprised and put together of cross-functional experts. You have opening services managers. You have a dedicated franchise business coach. Somebody will be with you all along the way. We'll touch on that more in a moment. And you'll also, during your training process, have the assistance of and be involved with an open and existing franchise owner, somebody who can help you connect the dots with what you're learning and what happens in the real world. And there's a lot of training we do, basically 3 steps before you open this. There's the pre-launch, where we help you get everything situated. You'll be confident when you are about ready to open the doors that you know about the industry, that you know about HomeWell, and that you know about this opportunity here and how to take care of your people. These phases can take some time, 3 to 6 months, depending on the state that you're in, depending on the licensing piece. We'll run it parallel so that you don't forget anything, but you'll be very ready when it's opening. Then there's some launch training too, where we're there for you when it's time to launch, as well as ongoing business coaching and support. So you'll never be alone in this industry, and with HomeWell, we'll make sure that you always have your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the industry, as well as what to do as the CEO of your non-medical in-home care health agency. So along with that, we mentioned the business coaching. So this is really an interesting piece that we've decided to do. When you officially open up the doors of your HomeWell agency, you're going to be assigned a franchise business coach. That franchise business coach is going to be there to work with you. They're going to help you with best practices. You're not going to have to figure it out. Remember, we said there's over 103 actually other owners out there, and we make sure best practices are shared. That's to your benefit. So every group of owners that comes in are on even more of an accelerated path to opening and being successful than the previous ones. And it's because of that shared learning, especially of best practices and brand standards, so you can grow your business more quickly and more effectively. And when we provide that kind of advice and counsel and assistance by means of those franchise business coaches, well, guess what happens? Your sales are always able to be improved, your profits, your market share, all of those things are part of your KPIs, your key performance indicators. It helps you zero in on your business plan so that you can dominate your local market. And they're going to help you by really putting intense focus on those first 2 years of operation, because that's the real critical time when you really need to be able to bear down, make sure you got your business right so you can scale. No matter how big you want to build it, without a strong, solid foundation, broad and wide and deep, it's going to be hard to build something that lasts. We're going to help you build something that lasts, whether it's the family legacy you're looking at, whether it's putting your family on the path to generational wealth. Regardless of what it is, we're going to help you do that by using resources like this business coach. It's not where our resources end, though. Samantha, would you mind going to the next one? Marketing support. Most of our owners have no idea, or previously had no idea about what to do with marketing. We know that. Part of our retooling was to get marketing experts in HomeWell so they can help you, whether it be with digital media, with consumer materials, sales collateral, caregiver recruitment pieces, templates that you can use, all of those things with content that's going to be impactful, that's going to differentiate you from your competition in the area and increase the confidence level that your primary referral sources are going to have in you. So you don't need to create that wheel. That wheel's created. You just use the templates the right way, the way we're going to teach you how to use it, and you'll look like the marketing expert that you're probably not. But that's to build your business as well. Now, ultimately, you're going to be with some folks who are going to want to know, what can you do to help my loved one, right? You're going to have some powerful tools at your disposal. Things like these signature programs that you see right here on the screen, programs that are designed specifically for your clients. You're not going to have to make it up. You're going to be able to use these type of proprietary signature programs, get more details from your development director on these, and make sure that you attend the operations review that's coming up, and you'll get more information on these, whether it's post-medical care, fall prevention programs, or just life enrichment activity programs, as you see here. But those things will help, again, you differentiate yourself within the industry. But there's more help. Let's go to the next slide, because this is really critical. Unlike when you start a business independently on your own, here you have a team, and the team consists of internal folks here at the corporate headquarters, the franchise services department that's going to help you get your business running. Think about it like a back office powerhouse that supercharges your team that you have there locally. We'll make sure that we give you the type of resources that you need. We talked about the franchise business coach, a franchise services manager who's also going to play a key role with you. You have the executive team. Every one of them have a desire to help you be successful. And guess who else you have? Remember, we keep saying it's over 100 owners. See, they are where you're contemplating being. They were where you are now. It is a valuable resource. They're not going to view you as competitors. They're going to view you as part of our team. And that's how you get that type of assistance. So what does it take? Let's go to our discovery process. Perhaps you're somewhere in this process. It's simple. There's an initial consultation with a franchise business director. They're going to help you understand the industry and the HomeWell in general and the opportunity. Then we make sure that you're connected with current owners and the leadership team. And ultimately, if we're all on the same page, yes, that's when you have your opportunity to become a HomeWell franchise owner. So that's really what we have for you today. If you want to know more, there are a lot of ways for you to reach us. Reach out to your franchise development director. If you don't have one, call us at the number on the screen or use that QR code. Just scan it with your phone or otherwise. Or you could visit our website that's listed right there, homewellfranchising.com, or email us, franchising@homewellcares with an S.com. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. Samantha, do we have time for any questions or do we have any questions?